Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Bridget. In today's video, I'm going to go over 15 interview tips, the do's and don'ts. So this video is going to help you if you are currently going through multiple interviews or you are just entering the workforce and you have your very first job interview coming up. So tip 1, do your homework. Do your homework on the company that you are interviewing with, and also do your homework on the position that you are applying for. If you are interviewing with a retail outlet, have you visited one of their locations? Did you familiarize yourself with their inventory? Did you happen to meet and talk with anybody that currently worked in that location to gather as much information and intel as you can? What is their experience with the company? Do they enjoy working for that company? Have you visited their website? Have you read any articles on that company that you can? You definitely want to make sure you do your homework on the company that you are interviewing with, and you also want to do your homework on the position that you are applying for. What are the expectations? What are the skill sets that are asked for someone doing that position? Every bit of homework that you can do ahead of time is going to better prepare you for this interview. Step 2, know why you are qualified for this position. You know this is going to be a question that you are asked, and you want to know why you are qualified for this position. What work experience have you done in the past that makes you the best candidate for this job? What skill set do you possess that makes you the best candidate for this position that you are interviewing for? 3, have extra resumes printed. Even though you may have emailed and submitted your resumes prior to them scheduling this interview, as you did, but in today's world, with you interviewing with a panel, there are emergencies that happen, and someone scheduled to be on that panel suddenly had to back out, and they have someone else sitting in their spot on that panel at the last minute. Be sure you have extra resumes on hand should someone on that panel ask you for your resume. Tip 4, make sure you are on time. This is a non-negotiable. Be on time. I recommend arriving 15 minutes beforehand and doing a dry run. The day before, week before, drive to where you know your interview is going to be located at, and familiarize yourself with what is the traffic that time of day. Is there a train that comes through? Do you have to pay for parking? Is parking a block away, or are you able to get Rockstar parking that time of day right there? But I recommend doing a dry run the same time of day that your interview is scheduled, so the day of you have taken the necessary precautions to make sure nothing delays you to your scheduled interview time. And again, I would arrive 15 minutes ahead of time. Tip number 5, do not chew gum. Do not go in there with candy in your mouth. Now, I know fresh breath, obviously a priority. You are going to be in front of people. You are going to be speaking. Obviously, fresh breath is a priority for all of us, but spit the gum out. Do your Banaka breath spray, whatever you need to do. And please, do not have sucked on a watermelon, cherry, or blueberry Jolly Rancher and go in there with a blue tongue. And you may be cracking up saying, seriously, Bridget, would someone actually do that? Yes, they would, because they don't think about it. They don't think about the lingering blue tongue, and they go in for an interview and all you see is their blue tongue. So please, don't go in there chewing gum, and don't have sucked on any of the colors of the rainbow Jolly Ranchers that are going to change the color of your tongue. And spit the gum, spit the mint, spit whatever out before you go in for your interview. Tip number 6, do not let them smell you before they meet you. And this is for ladies and men. We all want to smell nice, but a little goes a long way. You do not want to take their breath away with your perfume or with the cologne that you're wearing. You don't want them to open the door and the next candidate's coming in and the fragrance has already filled the room. Again, less is more with the fragrance. And There are many people that are sensitive to smell. You need to recognize that, especially those that suffer from migraines. Fragrance is a trigger. So the last thing you want to do is go in there and them be blown away by the overwhelming smell of perfume or cologne and then have triggered someone's migraine. That's not how you want to be remembered, is by blowing them away with overkilling them with perfume or cologne. Tip number 7. Enter the room with great posture. Hold your shoulders up, hold your head up. When you enter that room, you are making a first impression, and make sure you have great posture and are exuding confidence, and obviously establish eye contact. Again, when you enter that room with great posture, confidence, and establish eye contact. Tip number 8, when you establish eye contact from walking in the room, throughout your entire interview, make eye contact. If you have one interviewer, make eye contact with them. Maintain that eye contact. If you are interviewing before a panel, make eye contact with each and every person on that panel throughout that interview. Look up. Be confident. Do not be looking down. Do not be looking at the floor. If you are thinking on how you're going to answer this question, make eye contact and maintain great eye contact throughout your interview. Tip number 9, when you are entering that room, shake their hand. Whether you have one interviewer or you have a panel, shake their hand. Have a good handshake. Now, you don't need to try to crush the bones in their finger, but you want to have a good handshake. Not the patty, not the barely touch, but have a good, firm handshake. Tip number 10, have pen and paper with you. To me, this is also a no-brainer, but it's happened. That's why I have included this in these 15 tips of the do's and don'ts for an interview. Bring pen and paper handy with you. The last thing you want is if they've asked you to write something down or give you a follow-up day and time for another interview, that you have to ask them, can I borrow a piece of paper and a pen to jot something down on? So be prepared and have that pen and paper where you are readily able to take notes or write something down. Tip number 11, dress the part. Dress the part. Be clean. Be groomed. Again, you want to be groomed, clean, and a professional appearance. Ladies, I absolutely will be the first to admit I love fashion, but a job interview is not the time nor the place to walk in with head-to-toe fashion trends. In my personal opinion, I recommend classic, traditional professional appearance. Less is more that day. Again, if you get the job, you have plenty of opportunity to share your flair for fashion, but during an interview, that's not the time. You do not want to walk in with bright patterns, bright colors where you are just the color of the rainbow and they cannot get past the outfit. It is just loud, it is noisy. Again, classic and traditional is the style that I would go with during that interview. And again, make sure you are cleaned, make sure you are groomed, and you are well put together, because that is a first impression as to what your appearance looks like when you come in. So dress the part. Number 12, ask questions. If you need to prepare questions ahead of time, take the time to prepare those questions when you have done your homework. Now, if you have prepared those questions and 2 of those questions were asked, when the interviewer gets to the end of the questions they've asked you and they say, okay, what questions do you have for us? Anytime someone has said, I don't have any questions, it's a red flag. How can they have no questions whatsoever? Now, if you had 3 questions written down and we answered 2 of them, then you could say, I had these 2 questions down and you answered these questions with great clarity. I do, however, have 1 more question. Then you at least have said, I had 2 questions, y'all have provided the answer to me, but I do have another one. And when you have that pen and paper handy, if another question comes to mind during the course of the interview, you're able to write it down and you have another question to ask. So make sure you do ask a good question. And again, if you need to write it down ahead of time, write it down ahead of time. 13, speak up where they can hear you. You want to make sure, whether you are interviewing with one or you are interviewing with a panel of 5, that you are speaking up and your voice is projecting clearly where they can understand every single word. If you tend to mumble or people say, excuse me, what did you say? Can you speak up a little bit? You maybe are a soft talker where you need to just speak up. If you are interviewing with 5 people, can the people on either end of that table hear you clearly? You want to make sure that the people on the corner, you are speaking up and your voice is projecting clearly, loud enough where everyone in that room can hear you. Tip number 14, keep your answers straight and to the point. Answer their questions straight and to the point. The last thing you want to do is take them down a rabbit hole on your questions where they have to bring you out and stop you and say, okay, that's it, we got it, thank you, we need to move on to the next question. Do not make that mistake. You want to answer their questions straight and to the point. If there is a follow-up question or something, again, that they have to ask you based on your answer, you answer that question straight and to the point. Do not tell a long-winded story on every question that they ask you. Number 15, thank them for taking the time and considering you and bringing you in for that interview. Make sure you thank them for this interview. Thank them for this interview and ask for the job. Ask for the job. You have explained to them why you have the skill set, why you are qualified for this position. You want this job. You have spoken up. You have had great energy. You have maintained eye contact and confidence. Now at the end of this interview, ask for the job. If they say we have 3 to 4 more candidates or we have 2 more days of interviews, that's fine. But you want to leave them with them knowing you want this job. Don't be too nervous or afraid to ask for the job. So that is tip 15. And I want to leave you with a question. What are you most nervous about going into an interview? So please leave me a comment below. If there is a tip that you feel I left off, please leave that in the comment below. And I will list the 15 interview do's and don'ts in the description box. So thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.